Today I'm going to walk you guys through one of my lead guitar patches. I'm going to show you how I got the tone and why I made some of the choices that I did. Let's do it. Hey, hope you are doing well. So like I said, today I'm going to walk through one of my lead guitar patches. Now this patch is available in my gig pack, which is available on my website. Check that one out. But this is 100% a walkthrough of this patch, more or less to say thank you to everyone for all the support. It's just been amazing, and specifically to Chromeboy 2003, you asked, so this one's for you. All right, so let's check out what it sounds like, hey? So that is the tone that I'm showing you today. It's pretty high gain and it's designed to do some sort of ripping leads. Now I use this patch as well as all of the other ones in this pack every weekend. I do lots of cover gigs and I like rock, so sort of everything is based around these sounds. I keep it pretty simple. I like things to just be a one-touch press because I sing as well. And within each of the patches, I've got some other sub-parameters like delays and things that I can access if I feel like it during a particular song or whatever. But the one we're talking about is the shred one. So let's just look through it. So here it is on our screen now. So let's turn everything off and we'll just go through it one at a time, hey? Our guitar is going in. As always, you want to make sure your input is set the way you want it to. I've just got this on my default for the moment because that seems to work for this guitar. And my output, that is set the way I like it as well. Again, if you're not sure how to use your input and output settings, check out this video, explains everything. Okay, so first of all, we're going to go through the main bulk of the sound. I'm using this amp model and this IR. Shush you. So we open up here. What I'm using here is the Soldano, the extended range. So I wanted high gain. I wanted it to be like a straight up lead tone with just the amp. So as you can see here, this is the amp. I've got 90% gain, 20% presence, master volume's at 50. Go down, treble, mid, bass, tremolo is off. The bright is on. So like I said, I've got the gain set pretty high because I like high gain and I want things to just sort of sing when I play. Presence, I didn't want things to be too bright and really like piercing in my head. So 20%, I found that sort of sat pretty nice on this amp, especially with the bright switch on. The treble again here is at 65. Now the mid, 80%. Why have I done that? In any situation, your lead guitar, when it comes in and it takes over, it's basically taking over the place of a vocalist. And if you've got a singer who likes to sing over top of your solos, you want to piss them right off and play over top of their voice and make sure that you stand out and they don't. So because vocals sit sort of in that mid frequency range, that's sort of where you want to boost. A lot of people think that you want to boost your highs. I mean, yes, to a certain degree, but really that's just going to get sort of lost in the noise and in the mess. So your mids, you want to push that up and it's going to punch, it's going to cut through, you're going to hear your guitar solos. Bass, 57%. That's sort of where I found it worked for me. And like I said, the bright switch is on. So that is my amp setting. Now in this one, I'm using an IR. I basically use this one across the board, and I'm pretty sure that's the IR that I've used in all of these patches. Low cut at 100, probably could take that a little bit more because you don't really need anything down that low. It just gets messy and in the way. The -8 is just how it worked for the patch. And the high cut I've got here at 7,000. Now a lot of people don't like to take away the high frequencies, but a lot of people do. So around sort of 5,000 to 6,000 is kind of your standard. You don't need anything above that kind of range. So in this instance, the way I'm thinking about it is it's the lead guitar. Now, like I was saying at the start, you want it to cut through and you want it to sit in the middle and punch. So you think of it like that. Here's your EQ spectrum. Here's the guitar tone. All this messy stuff, it's not getting in the way. Low stuff's not getting in the way. Lead guitar, boom. And 100% mix, because why would you not do that? First one in line is a volume. I usually use that on everything. Basically, it's just nice between songs just to press that and make sure that you're not going to accidentally make some noise. You can use your tuner to do the same thing. But at the end of a song, rather than reaching for here, if you want to let it sing out, sometimes it's nice to get the volume and just roll it back, cuts it out totally fine. Now I've got the black wah on the expression pedal B, and it is more or less kind of like a Jimi Hendrix wah, Crybaby. and I love the sound of that. So that's what I use there. So just the amp and the IR. So it's pretty dry, but the gain's pumping, so it is pretty punchy already. Now from that point, I always reach for a reverb. So I've got a medium plate here at 20% decay, 100% tone. Now because I've cleaned up the top end on the IR and I've got this reverb sitting before the IR, it's gonna be bright, but it's not gonna get in the way of anything. Again, pre-delay at 9 milliseconds there, just so it comes in that little bit late, so it's not just instantly messy. The attack of the tone comes through first, and then the reverb ever so slightly comes in afterwards. 26% mix, that sort of, again, makes it sit nicely. And tails always on, guys, because you want it to spill over, otherwise you're gonna get very short cut changes. Cool, cool. So as you can see, it falls off fairly quickly there. It doesn't stick around too much. Now at this point in time, usually I would probably start to EQ. And this one, I've decided I wanted the para EQ at the end of the chain. So I wanted this after the reverb. A lot of times I have the reverb at the very end and the para EQ is before that. In this instance, I decided just to clean it up completely. So before it. Cool, so all I'm doing with the para EQ, as always, is just cleaning it up enough to make it sound a bit nicer. There's gonna be some frequencies in every tone that's gonna punch you right in the ear ball and it's gonna sound like crap, so get rid of those. Now, I've got plenty of videos on how to do that. This one here in particular shows you how to easily get into the para EQ and sculpt that tone with ease. But this one, here are the settings exactly. By all means, copy this, pause, do what you have to do. That's the whole point of this anyway. So this one here, just removing a little bit at that point. Number 2 is there. Very good. Number 3. So I didn't do anything there. I think because I didn't have to. I have a global EQ, which I'll show you in just a moment. And that is that one there. Now every one of these is a peak. Very good. Now my global EQ, just to show you real quickly. Global EQ, I'm using the line out. So at 2.5 there, I'm cutting 5 dB. And that frequency was at sort of 2.2. If you remove too much, you're gonna ruin your tone, guys. So make sure you use your EQs sparingly and you're not gonna muck it up. The low band and the high band are cuts, actually. This is, for me, supposed to be at 50. Fixed it. All right, now, I want a bit more ambience. The reverb's good, it's not enough. So I brought in the air delay. Now this one here, it's the default mono, quarter delay, and obviously it is synced to tempo. Ratio at 0%, which means it's mono straight down the middle. I'm not panning this one. It does actually sound really nice if you do spread your delays a bit, so experiment with that. It's a lot of fun. Mix it's 13% because I want it to have some delay, but again, I don't want it to get in the way of my tone. Width, obviously nothing, 20% feedback. The low pass frequency, which is basically a cut at the high end, is at 14 there. Reso, I don't use that very often, so I leave that off. And the high pass frequency, which is a low cut, is at 200 there. So even higher than the low part of my guitar because same thing, it gets in the way, keep it out of the way. Sync on, tails on again, and it adds just a little bit of ambience. Pretty good. Let me just show you what it sounds like if you spread it a little bit. So why would you want to spread your delays? Think about it like your guitar tones here. The ambience is out wide. If it's all in the middle, it does tend to get in the way a little bit. actually don't really mind. I don't have it up too high on this one. But if you want to spread your guitar tone just a little bit wider, jump in, that's how you do that one. So it's starting to sound pretty good, but we want it to sound a bit better. Now to tighten it up a little bit, I've got the Tube Screamer here, 0%, 56% tone, 70% level. So actually again before. So that's how I use that one. It just gives it a bit more character, cuts it through a bit, tightens it up, sounds nice. I do have the Anxiety Overdrive in here as well because I actually really like it. Now this one's set more or less the same as the Tube Screamer. Got the high level there, and that sounds like this. So I was using that exclusively for a long time before I decided to change it to the Tube Screamer. I find the Tube Screamer makes it cut a bit more. The Anxiety Overdrive sounds good on its own, but in a mix it's warmer so it doesn't cut as much. My opinion, I could be wrong, but that's what I think. Now, have a listen. There's a little bit of noise. So obviously you want your gate on because it's going to just cut it completely. I find though the gate, it's too sharp sometimes and it just cuts it way too much. So I've got this noise filter in here. I found it doesn't work after the amp as well as it does in this position. I've got it set there, attacks pretty quick, release at 100 milliseconds, which is still pretty quick, and that's what it's doing. It's just cleaning up that little bit of hum. So it does eventually start to fade your lead guitar there so you don't get too much feedback, but that works all right in my opinion. So that sounds pretty good, and we can boost that to the level that you want it, but what you want to do is you really want it to cut through. So this is where we bring in our graphic EQ. Again, could use this before the amp, but I've found because you've got this awesome interface on the HeadRush, you can put things wherever you want them and it works way better after your amplifier. So there's the graphic EQ here. Just show you what it does first. So same thing again, we want it to cut. So what I've done here is I've got rid of the low end, cut it out completely. The low mids, they're a bit sort of boxy and boomy. I got rid of a bit more of there. Now more mid, 1.5 boost I found was enough. And then high mid, 2 highs, 1. And then I've boosted that entirely by 0.5. So you've got extra volume, but you've also got extra volume within particular frequencies, specifically around that mid frequency again, so that in a mix is going to cut through like I was saying at the start. So that is the setup for the tone, and that's why I made some of the choices that I did. Now, like I said, I use this across the board on a lot of my covers. So for example, you probably could go a little bit deeper if you wanted to and assign yourself different patches for your own songs. In my opinion, I don't think you really need it. If you think about it like old school days where you had an amp and you had a drummer and you had a bass player, that's what you sound like. You get what you get. So that's the way I approach it. It just keeps it simple in my head. I don't have to stuff around programming and adding extra MIDI mapping. I just like it this way, and they all sound good to me, so it works. Within this preset, if you hold down and press, it takes you to the other side here. Now what I've done, across the bottom here, I've assigned these buttons. So I've got the tube screamer there, the OCD, air delay, and the graphic EQ to turn off and on as I please. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the little bell and keep up to date with all of my upcoming videos. And again, there's lots of links down in the description. Read through those, check some stuff out. Now one last thing, if you don't like the Soldano amp, by all means, use a different amp. So if you like the settings, what you want to do here, rather than using the preset, jump in and let's check out this new, let's try the high lead, the new amp in the update. Now that actually sounds brilliant. I might have to experiment myself and save myself some new patches, eh? Just going to quickly give you a demo of all of these other patches that are available in this pack. This is the clean tone. Within that preset, I've also added quarter note. With some chorus, which sounds delightful, and a triplet delay. Wonderful. And also little bit of tremolo. Very good. I've got a standard crunch patch. Now within this patch, we've got a slightly different sound here. Tube screamer. We've got a slightly heavier one. And access to a delay. Next one along, main heavy patch. Same thing within this one, we've got a few things, a bit heavier. Got a delay scene. That one, and a solo tone. Very good. Then I've got, this one's just a straight up access to a delay tone. Very good. Within this one, different delay, triplets, and a harmony. Very good. Next one along, we've got a different sounding clean tone here for a bit of option. Within that patch is a bigger reverb. Tube screamer. Second O drive. I've got a shortcut from the clean tone straight to the gain. Got a delay. If you want it to cut, we've got big lead happening. Wonderful. And last but not least, there is a clean shred channel. Now within that one, again, we have some options. You can clean it up a little bit more. Add in some vibrato. Or we can take it straight to a bigger shred sound. Very, very good. So there we go, guys. That is how you make my amp shred tone, and just a quick demo of all of the other patches that are available in that pack. I hope some of you get some use out of that shred tone. I'd love to hear what you think. If you like this tone, I'd love to hear how you're using it as well. So by all means, tag me some stuff. I'd love to check that stuff out. So that is it for today. Thanks again for watching. Stay tuned, and I'll see you next time.